Hey everybody, it's your girl Nadia, also known as Urban Farm Sister. So today we're going to talk about this. Why you shouldn't use store-bought produce for seeds. I see this every year. I'll see people going collecting seeds from tomatoes or peppers or apples and all types of stuff that they buy from the grocery store. They will try to go and sprout those seeds, and most of the time they don't have good success. They might have a few seeds that may sprout, but then even then the plants just don't perform like they should. There's two main reasons why this does not work. First of all, when it comes to the produce at the grocery store, a lot of times that produce is not ripened on the actual plant. So like when it comes to tomatoes, they don't ripen them on the plant. They don't allow them to ripen naturally on the plant. They may leave them on the plant, but what they do is they'll bring in gas called ethylene, and they will gas that fruit, and it'll elicit that color change that you need to make it look like it's ripe. And that's what that's why they are able to put a product out at the grocery stores. What happens is though, is that fruit hadn't really made it to maturity to where it would naturally release that gas, and it would elicit that color change, convert the starch to sugar, and make sure that those seeds are mature. And so as a result of that, because it's not naturally ripened on the plant, you are getting basically ripe fruit that's been kind of painted, if you want to use just some technical terms. It's been painted chemically using that ethylene, but the seeds inside of there are not mature. And so if you took those seeds from, say, a red or yellow or an orange pepper, the seeds, they're not going to look like the seeds would if that plant actually had ripened its own fruit on itself. The seeds you usually find are white. When that fruit ripens on the plant, what you will see is that those seeds will have a slightly beige, brownish color to them. The fruit itself, let's say if it's a pepper, it'll be sweeter. It'll have a better flavor. You can't collect seeds from green fruit, such as green peppers. Green peppers are immature. They're not ready. They were not ready to be harvested. They were unripened. The seeds inside of there are not mature. And so if you try to collect seeds from a green pepper, you're not going to be able to grow that out because that seed is not mature. The same thing happens if people collect seeds from tomatoes and other produce. Now, granted, sometimes the grocery store does get produce from local farmers and they'll sell it in their store, and they may have allowed it to ripen on the plant. But this brings us to the second issue of why you shouldn't really use seeds from the grocery store. It's because seeds may come from a hybrid cross. And what that means is farmers, they will cross plants, or they will purchase seeds from plants that have been crossed, meaning they produce a hybrid. Those seeds that they are growing, that hybrid is a cross between two different parents, but in the same family. So I could cross, using tomatoes as an example, I could cross a beefsteak tomato with a cherry tomato to produce a hybrid offspring that will exhibit characteristics from both of those parents. And so you might have, in that plant, you might have a tomato plant that'll produce a whole bunch of fruit like a cherry tomato fruit plant would, but it'll have these big, juicy tomatoes that exhibit the characteristics of a beefsteak. The issue is that if you collect seeds from that hybrid cross fruit, those seeds, if you plant them, you're not going to get that same fruit that you have, that you purchased. What you're going to get if you plant those cross seeds, you're going to get plants that produce fruits that look similar to the original parents. And so the only way you would be able to get that same fruit is to either do that cross with the two parents, or you have to do some other propagation means like doing cuttings and producing another whole clone of that plant and stuff like that. So when it comes to produce like apples and lemons, I recommend that you don't collect those seeds either, because there's a lot of grafting and things that have to go on there, but you're also going to have to deal with this hybrid cross. So you might plant the seed, a plant may grow, but if you went and did all the grafting and all that stuff, you'll find that you're not going to always produce that apple or that lemon or whatever the other produce is that you collected those seeds from. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, you can put them in the comments, or you can send me a DM and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. All right, thanks. Bye.